Hey everyone, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for joining me for another Memory Planning Monday video. If you'd like to see what I'm going to do, stick around. What's up, friends? Thanks for joining me for this video. This week I have a process video, so it's going to be my second time only planning an entire week on camera, so I'm really excited and also a bit intimidated. Here's a quick look at last week's pre-planning final spread. Absolutely love the colors and the way this turned out. Has some fall vibes, but that's cool with me. I really liked and enjoyed being able to switch up the color palette a little bit from my typical brights, but I'm ready to get back into brights for the week of the 8th through the 14th. And I already pre-cut my pictures and sort of began to lay them out so I could see what pictures were going to go where. And you can see here that it was a work day for me. I don't think I have any pictures for Monday. That is Nora and one of her counselors, like the lifeguard counselor at Girl Scout camp. And this was like the pickup line in the woods on my way to get her. I actually think, yeah, okay, it was like this. And then Friday, there's this funny picture of them snuggling in our bed in the morning. So cute. That was the 13th. Oh no, wait, that was Saturday, not Friday. I don't know if I have any pictures from Friday. I might have to go back and like look through my phone, my Instagram stories or something, and look at my journaling and see what happened. And then there's a picture of Nora and Matt making some cinnamon sugar coated pecans because we're trying, you know, to switch over to gluten-free things and come up with snacks and things like that. So later on that day, we had my local Korean adoptee group was invited to the local Korean American group. It's like it's a much larger encompassing group of Koreans that don't necessarily, actually most of them are not adopted, if any, but they invited us to come along and join in their yearly summer barbecue, and it was fabulous. Of course, all the Korean food, it was so delicious. And so there I am with some of my Korean adoptee friends. And what's really, really interesting and cool, so my position on adoption is complex, and my feelings about being adopted are very complex. And I actually prefer, as many of us adoptees do, to use the term relinquished, because that is legitimately what happened when we were given up at birth or at some point. So these are my relinquished friends. And when we were younger, our local area had a Korean culture camp that because it was such a popular thing to do, you know, get yourself a Korean baby. They had Camp Mujige, which is where all of the Korean adopted kids could go every summer, and they still do the program. And you don't have to be adopted. You can just have Korean brother or sister, or just be first or second generation Korean, but it's a camp. They called it Korean Culture Camp, where you learned about Korea. And I don't have any pictures, and actually, not to get too personal, but I do have a very difficult childhood story. And I don't remember a lot of it. There's a lot of it that I blocked out, and then there's some of it that I remember that I wish I didn't. But that's what therapy is for, right? So anyway, one of my friends in our local Korean group started sending pictures from her childhood because her parents actually saved things. And I found myself in some of these pictures, and honestly, it was such a shock, and it was such a emotional moment where memories just came flooding back in, and I just was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. But that is me there in my little hanbok with my bangs, and I don't even know what was happening. There must have been an end of the week or end of the summer program or something. And then that's me there. Wow, look at the glasses. Look at that. Is my I'm Data. Oh no, that's not me. That is me there, right there. You can see my little bangs and my little shirt there. But it's kind of crazy how I sort of like remembered doing this, making this. Anyway, I could just like talk about that all day, but that is definitely a story that I'm going to need to document in here. And it's been just so healing to all have found each other, and that there's so many of us locally that have found each other. It's incredible. And we all have children, and there are a lot of what we call second generation adoptee Korean American kiddos, and they are becoming friends. And it's just been so healing and just so cool to be a part of this community. And then we were walking down to the park after the barbecue, and my friend Emily took this photo of the three of us, and I just thought that was so cute. And then we got ice cream afterwards. So it was a really cool, full Saturday. So somehow I'm going to have to house a ton of stories about Saturday. And all I have is this picture from Sunday at church. And my husband was leading worship with my friend Imani. So that's the picture I have for Sunday. So I am going to stop talking and get going. I'm using the Sun Chaser kit. I said I was going to stop talking, but I lied because I forgot to kind of preview some of the stuff. But I really have wanted to use this particular pattern paper. It's gorgeous, and I feel like I have the right colors this week to be able to do that. So I don't know. I'm just going to get going. I'm going to speed up the camera, and then you'll hear me do my voiceover. So let's go. Let's go.
The first thing I like to do is make some what I call like staple pieces for the planner spread. So for me, those are usually like folders or envelopes or pockets, that type of thing. So here I'm just cutting out a couple of envelope pockets in case I decide to use more than one, and using the scrapbook.com nested dies, I'm going to adhere this die to my Big Shot platform and cut them out. And then I just have to score them, make them all nice and crisp and ready to go should I want to use them. And I don't always know if I'm gonna use them, I just make them in advance. And I have so many things. I have the entire Sun Chaser collection, so lots of options, pulling all the stamps. And I actually didn't do very much stamping this week, and that changes week to week. Sometimes I do a lot and sometimes I don't really do much, and it just depends on my mood and the vibe of the spread and all of that. So I'm using some of my iCraft glue to adhere the envelope down, cut a slit in it, punch a hole, half circle hole, so that you will be able to see that there's a card in there with some journaling on it. And I'm just cutting out some white cardstock, making my own little card to fit inside the envelope, and trying to figure out how to put a tab on here, but that tab didn't look right. So I thought, I'll punch a circle out of this cactus paper because I really love this pattern so much. And the shape obviously fits perfectly because I use the same punch for both the cactus and the notch that I punched out of the envelope. And then I'm just using some Distress Oxide to add color and lightly, faintly stamp Monday on the tags so that I can journal right on top of it. And it'll just slide in and out of there. And then I gotta figure out what to add to the right side, and I decide these really fun, playful, puffy words are great, and I like the play because it is her second week at Girl Scout camp. And then I'm trying to figure out how I want to add this second picture and make a little interactable. So it's a flip up, and I decide to create my own little tab out of the same cactus paper, and then stick that to the back of the photo so that you can flip it open. I love the Squeeze the Day. That part was cut out of a larger piece of the Sun Chaser paper. It had several different cutaways on it. Just sanding it, and then I was trying to decide if I was going to journal under it, make it into a pocket or whatever, but I decided, you know what, I'm just going to tape the whole thing down, and it looks really, really cohesive. And then I love these tabs from the April Stop the Blur kit. I just cut it down so that it would fit in the spot a little bit better, and then added the photo on top, and then I'm going to use the extra part of the photo to make that the tab to be able to pull down on it. I just stuck it with some double-sided adhesive. I was trying to figure out a way to make something that would keep the flap down, but I just couldn't think of anything, so I'm like, oh well, I'll just leave it for now. And if I come back to it and want to fix it, I can. And for whatever reason, I decide, oh, I need to put the dates on. So I'm using the new October Stamp Society numbers, which I love. They're so much fun. I didn't know if I would like them because they're all so different, but I really, really love the aesthetic. So I had a little bit of trouble stamping right on the page. I should have stamped on vellum sticker paper, clear sticker paper, but that's okay. And then I'm deciding how I'm going to tell the rest of the stories and what to put next to this photo here of Nora and Dory at Girl Scout camp. So these, that notepad is from a different Stop the Blur kit. I can't remember which month, maybe May. And then I decided to bring in the gingham washi, which I think is really fun and just makes a fun little accent on tags and on the tops of the tabs and on some of the more plain pieces. I think it's just another way to kind of tie everything together from the collection. And I didn't like the way that the photo looked right underneath the other photo, since they both have very similar color, since obviously it's taken in the same spot. So I moved it over to the middle. And then I decided to use this circular label to put Nora and Dory. And I used some alphas from Stop the Blur kit. And then I'm trying to figure out what to put in that spot there because I can't have any white space. I'm measuring it and then cutting out some white label paper. And then I just stamp over and over work using the Blue Sky Alphas and alternating from Salvage Patina to Peacock Feathers. And for whatever reason, my Peacock Feather ink pad, as you can see, is really saturated and ink is just all over, so I made a big mess. My hands are covered. So I had to go wash my hands. That's why there's a pause, and then I come back and keep going. Clean up my space a little bit, use my heat tool because it was so wet. And I moved over the picture. I actually decided I wanted the stamping to go in the middle. And now I'm moving over to the right side and I'm watching Heidi's September Stop the Blur class, and this technique is called like double wide open or open double wide or something like that. And since I had so many pictures, I knew this was going to be the technique that I wanted to try out for this side of the spread. I wish that photo I had it printed a little bit smaller because it does end up peeking a bit over the paper, but it doesn't really matter once it's taped down to the page. So this was just me trying to figure out which photos I wanted where and which ones I didn't mind being hidden. And I love that picture of Matt and Nora and Jeeves. I'm in it, you just can't really see because I'm taking it. Nora's laying basically on top of me. And then I decided to journal on some white label paper and then put it onto the paper so it's easier to read. I had to print out the leap picture from my HP Sprocket because like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't know what happened on Friday, but there were no photos. So then I'm just cutting out this printable because it fits perfectly in this spot, even though it's not quite the right shade of blue. I didn't really care. I'm just journaling about our Friday shenanigans and then putting the leap picture there. That's the movie that we watched. We always have takeout in a movie, or we do takeout and do some fun things around the town depending on the weather. And then I decided, I'm gonna make the back of this like a pocket to be able to hold some tags for journaling because I spent a lot of the real estate here on this double wide technique taking it up with photos. So I'm like, what if I can take these tags, tuck them behind there and journal on those. Perfect. So I love that I was able to kind of put my own twist on the technique that Heidi taught. And then the Discover fits because of that tab that's sticking out, and it fits perfectly there. Like with the half circle and the shape of the D, I was like, ooh, perf. And then, hey, it's the little things, right? And then I want to bring in this sticker heart because of the pattern being the same as the paper that I used a lot of. And I bring in this blue tab, do the same thing I did on the left so that I have a similar technique. And this way I can journal about Sunday because Sunday didn't have a ton of journaling. And now I'm going back into my 6x8 sticker book from the Sun Chaser kit and using the who, what, when, where about the story and journaling about that. And then I lost a bunch of footage. So I did the same thing with the work on the left side, on the right, and I just stamped CAD, which stands for Korean American Adoptee. I think it turned out really cute. I just added some twine and the rest of the journaling and a couple of photos, and that was it.
Hey everyone, I'm finished. I love how this turned out. I did lose the end footage, but I can explain what got cut out. It's not a big deal. It wasn't too much this time. So just to go over everything real quick, we have journaling on Monday with my own little DIY pocket and tag, and work stamped over and over with the Blue Skies Alpha. Then the little tab that I created in this flip out with journaling about how crazy busy I was filming on Tuesday. Forgive my nasty inked hands. I did try to wash off the ink, but it'll probably be a while. So, and then I just took those tabs, and I need to journal behind there. I totally forgot. Journaling about Thursday, and that's Nora and Dory. Printables here. You saw me talk about Leap and this fun technique from the September Stop the Blur class, and Discover fit perfectly here. I didn't think I needed to add more. I was going to, but I feel like between the pattern papers and all of the colors going on, it's enough. I did decide to add that little tab, which I love, and more journaling and photos in there. Okay, and on these tags, I have the journaling about the day, and then the photo of Nora and her friend Zoe, who we call Zoe. And this tag came from a Fresh Air pack. And then the three of us with ice cream and more journaling about the day. And this was a tag that came in one of these sleeves, the pocket sleeves, but I just decided to keep it out of the sleeve, keep the sleeve for something else, and they tuck nicely right behind this pocket that I ended up making into a pocket. And then journaling back here about Sunday, and this heart to carry some of this patterned paper, the fruit print rather, over to the right. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this process video for August 8th through the 14th. I love it. The Sun Chaser kit is one of my faves. Can't go wrong. If you like this video and things like this, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my content. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, friends, and remember that you are enough. Bye.